finish where we are. And we were going to read a few words inside, and then we are going to discuss it. The line begins with what Mushosh Benefesh, which is the same place we started yesterday. It's the bottom third of Lamed Dalet. And the question that we are focused on is, why is the Nefesh referred to as Nefesh HaMaskelas, Nefesh HaSichis? As if Seichel is some kind of a primary qualifier of the Nefesh. Nefesh has many koiches. The Inyan is, however, the amitas inyan koyach haseichel ho'atzmi, the true inyan. The word inyan over here is used to point out we're not talking about a tangible and definable koyach. The inyan, the functionality, the effect of the koyach haseichel ho'atzmi. Koyach haseichel ho'atzmi again means, as we discussed yesterday, not the seichel that in the functioning seichel. Functioning seichel works essentially in a reactive manner. No, what is this about? Question and answer. But the reason you ask the question what this is about, that is the koyach haseichel. Why? Who says there is something about it? That nobody has to tell you. That Seichel itself decides that there has to be something about it. This is coming closer to the Ho'atzmi. Ho'atzmi means the essential as it is unto itself. Not a Seichel that needs to be aroused, but the Seichel, the reality of the Seichel itself. Did you find the place? The inyan of the koyach haseichel ho'atzmi is the bechina of tainug ho'atzmi shebenefesh. Try to really fit in the idea into the words. These are kind of Ruchnisike words. Between the inyan and bechinas hataynik. The inyan of the koyach haseichel ho'atzmi. Normally koyach haseichel, what is koyach haseichel? To figure things out. What is the inyan of seichel? How do you do this? I need to do such and such. I need to accomplish such and such. How do you do it? Therefore, the inyan of that seichel, what is the aim? What arouses that seichel? The problem. The inyan of the koyach haseichel, 1 second, I'll go back. If it is the problem that arouses the seichel, that means that the inyan of the seichel is to settle the problem, to find a resolution to the problem. On what basis do you find a resolution to the problem? If there is, for example, let's take a kind of a simple situation. Two people are arguing, right? In Gemara, there's an argument. Two people are arguing. Each one of them has, as we say all the time, has a place in the world, has a right given to him, a godly right, and they each come from their own approaches and their own angles. How do you settle that argument? You find a way that each one recognizes his particular right, his particular area. Maybe since the world can accommodate all, and And you have to find demarcations and say, oh, this is where your area ends, this is where your area starts. Which means that you are resolving the dispute on the basis of worldly reality. Worldly reality means the reality that Hashem put into the world, but it is against an existent reality. You were here, you each have the right to be here. How do you resolve the dispute? So therefore, what gives a seichel a place? What gives a seichel a basis for this resolution, for this thinking? It is the metzius of the world. And the metzius of the world accommodates all. On that basis, you resolve this problem. It's a simple invitation. This is the function of seichel. The inyan of the Keach HaSeichel Ho'atzmi. What is the inyan? What is the aim? And the functionality, the purpose, the point of Keach HaSeichel Ho'atzmi. Ho'atzmi means the Seichel where there is no external problems to solve. It is a Seichel functioning in and of itself. Like we say all the time. You come into a chasana hall and you see tables and chairs, and then the Keach HaAtzmi, Keach HaSeichel, says, wait a second, this is not what's going on over here. What's going on over here? What's freaking you? What's bothering you? Eat. So Seichel says, no, I have to find a Seichel to give presence, a Seichel to give significance over here. So this is something which is Seichel, self-imposed, so to speak, from the Seichel. What imposes this? What bothers him? That he starts looking for what's going on over here. The union of that Seichel is Bechiras Hataynog Ho'atzmi Shebenefesh. The turf, the platform on which that Seichel functions. It's a completely different platform. It's a completely different reality. It's the reality of a Tainog Ho'atzmi Shebenefesh.
Paltiel, we once explained very similar to this the Koyach HaMaskir.
No. Yeah.
And we said that it was this union, the Koyach HaMaskir was the sense that there is something to delve into here. And then we said that was the Seichel that was Vav Amshach. Is the kind of the Atzmi.
This is on a much higher level. Oh, this is part of the method. This is not the functioning thing. This is not Seichel in Hamshach.
So this is not what compels me in actuality to delve into something. This is the foundation, the basis for that.
Right. This is as we're going to see. So it says that the inyan Keach HaSeichel Ho'atzmi, the beginning is Hataynog Ho'atzmi Shebenefesh. Okay. We are talking about Seichel Ho'atzmi and Tainog Ho'atzmi. So please let's understand. We're talking about Atzmi. There is no anything to compare it to. There is no arousal. Therefore, to compare to what we have learned elsewhere, forget it. We have to find an element, and we are able to find an element if you follow very carefully. And we have to clearly. This is something which we possess by God a gift, Kaman Nefesh, but we're not perhaps up until this moment perhaps ever come to be aware of this. And even after this, it's also like a fleeting thing. But nevertheless, it behooves us to understand that such a thing exists within the nefesh. What is the meaning of tainug ho'atzmi shebenefesh? Tainug, we all know what tainug is. Pleasure. Okay. Each one has their own pleasure. There's pleasure from food, pleasure from a seichel, pleasure from winning an argument, all kinds of different pleasures. This is a tainug ho'atzmi, which means it's a tainug that does not have an admixture, an ingredient in it. What's arousing this tainug? So what is this tainug about? This tainug is not about anything. It's atzmi. Just as we speak all the time about atzmi. Atzmi exists by us in our world only by the godly presence in our world. There is no atzmi use per se in world. By definition, world is not atzmi. Alter Rebbe explains. Please think about this. What are the parameters of world? Zman u'mokim. And what is Zman? The Alter Rebbe explains in very real terms: past, present, and future. That's not atzmi. It's a constant movement. Mokim. Milo matter. There are 6 directions. An expanse. There's no atzmi element in that definition. Atzmi, and we say that's a nefesh. We speak many times. The nefesh, the life element. This is a truth beyond world. World cannot understand what nefesh is. It's a godly reality. That was nefesh is. And in that itself, there are infinite variety. Infinite variety. There are the lowest creatures, and there is lahavra, the human being. And the human being has a completely different life element. Nefesh. Really different element. But all is a godly presence. And in that there is what's called koyach inyan hatainug, b'chinas hatainug u'atzmi. Doesn't even call it a koyach, which is not a koyach. Because a koyach means that it functions externally. This is not external. This is the bechina of the tainug u'atzmi. It's a bechina within the nefesh. It's part and parcel of the definition of nefesh. It's clear that tainug and nefesh and life go hand in hand. As I point out many times, you can transmit and emulate almost all human functions, even sight. Right? We have cameras that you say all they can see. You have robots that speak, that walk. You can have computers that calculate the most complex mathematical problems, analyze it properly, and set it up by its ingredients, and you can have tremendous functionality. You cannot imbue life into anything. Life is something which is a godly gift, only to the living. This cannot be transmitted. Like I told you the story that I had with this lady from Toronto that called me up, all distraught. Mom is beside herself. This is from a lady, from home, a family, and all of a sudden she went to school, went to college, for whatever reason she went, and soon after, a few months into her course, she lost her bearings. She started, studying, learning all of these definitions of human activity and so forth. She lost her bearings. And she called me up, and talking, and after a while, we came to this point where I said, okay, so what is superior, a cat or a computer? So her first reaction was, of course a computer. Look what a computer knows, what does a cat know? So then we started digging into that answer clearly, slowly, question of the question. Oh yeah, a cat is superior. I told you that when she said that, I heard such a sigh of relief, like she came back to life. Life and worldly existence, Bisman or Mokim, are not comparable, whatever. Even a cat's life. Cat's life is a miracle. It's a godly miracle. You can't dissect it and say, okay, here's what it is. It's total stupidity, idiocy. Say our life consists in electronic pulses. This life. So there are different levels of life and so forth. Then there is in the human nefesh. Normally, all life, the life in an animal, as we say all the time, it's a living body. So essentially, when do you see life? It's sensitivity to external stimulus. It's a body level of living. It's a living body. That story is also life. It's also a miracle. But still it is limited completely to bodily experience. Then in the human being there is something which is completely unique. And that is Oyneg Atzmi. It is not incorrect to say, that a cat, all it wants is it shouldn't be bothered, that it should not suffer bodily deprivation, and it should have all its bodily needs. It should have food whenever it is it would. It does not value life per se. Doesn't know what it is. Its experience of life is on the experiential level. Lahavdul Elam Abdonis, the human being. And on top of that, the true human being, the Yid, the Nefesh there is life in an essential state. As we say all the time, a moment of life is an eternity. Not because of what we can accomplish. A moment of life is an eternity. Every human being, every Yid living, one moment is another light in the world, even if he doesn't do anything. This is called Tainug Atzmi. there is an essential, a true meaning, a true presence in this life. Not because of any reaction, of any function around it. Tainug Atzmi, if you can put it in words, clearly, I always ask you, we have to have a thinking cap and have to go beyond our thinking cap, our sensitivity. Tainug Atzmi means, I want to live just because it's a truth. Not because I'm going to prove anything, accomplish anything. This reality of timing this is what's reflected in Chochmah. What is Chochmah? I will say, you come into this Chasna hall again. I'm oversimplifying it, but nevertheless, it's a good means for us to. You're looking for something real. How do you know there's something? Because Tainug Atzmi says that there has to be something Atzmi. If it's not Atzmi, if it's not real, where does it come into you? I can really relate to it. This is the pshat that Kerech HaSeichel Ha'atzmi. What means Ha'atzmi? Ha'atzmi is the basis of the Seichel. What makes you say that there is something here to be known? You haven't seen anything. Ha'atzmi. The Seichel says there is. Nobody has to tell me. I say it. What is the background? On what basis am I saying it? Because there is Ayin Atzmi. There's a reality in life. There's a reality that Seichel has to be able to identify. Seichel, essentially, the Tainug is a statement that the Nefesh is real, is godly, and the Seichel is what defines it, or reveals it, explains it. They're one and the same thing. The Seichel, to understand an independent reality, like I said, it's just there. There's nothing here it's not nothing tangible that causes me to say, I know it is there. That's Atzmi comes from an Atzmi. Because there is an Atzmi level of life. This is why there is Atzmi level of Seichel. This Seichel is not, I mean, we can readily see, is not a functioning Seichel. There is nothing arousing it. There's no question answered. There is not a worldly turf in which it operates. The Rebbe explains, speak about this all the time, that in the Torah there is no such punishment as imprisonment. As a punishment, there is no such punishment. And the Rebbe explains, because imprisonment is what a cruel and unnatural punishment. It's not the word the Rebbe used, but essentially this is the message. Because here you have a living individual, a living person. And he is confined in an unreal world. He's real. The real out of the world is infinity. He's confined in an unreal world. This is cruel and unusual and unnatural punishment. In other words, sit there, you have your bed, you have your food, right? You have your whatever company. No, I can't experience my reality. It's not that I'm lacking some kind of activity. I'm lacking my own reality. This is the inyan of Kerech HaSeichel. Inyan, the inyan and the function, the purpose, the focus of the Kerech HaSeichel Atzmi is to reveal and identify the Oinago Atzmi. It's based on Oinago Atzmi. What makes this Seichel real? Not because I have proof, like we normally speak in terms of worldly terms. I have proof, I can show it to you. No. The koyach, what is the basis of the koyach? What makes it real? Among the time of gods. This is what makes it. This is the sacred real.
The time is what makes the sacred.
Mentioned to you many times. Now we can really hit it on the head. The evolutionists, with all the things that they said, all the Yiddishes that explained, they come to the human being, they're stumped. The human being doesn't make sense from an evolutionary perspective. But it has to be true. It's because there cannot be an atzmi, a truth. There has to be all worldly, all non-true. Therefore, if there is such thing, it's an error. What's the expression? An error of nature.
Anomaly.
An anomaly. Yes, indeed, it's an anomaly because it doesn't fit in the natural mold into the model that you've defined. And there's no way you can make it fit. It doesn't even belong there. That's not the platform upon which he functions. He creates his own reality. Because he has a Tanakh Atzmi, as a true Tanakh, a godly Tanakh. God created the whole world, everything, and then God creates this time, this is reality itself.
So, when we at the outset we said nefesh sichli.
Oh, wait a second. Okay. So, we understand these words, okay? So, this is what he said, the inyan of the koyach ha-seichel ha-atzmi is bechinas ha-tanakh atzmi shebenefesh. This is its inyan, which means this is its basis. This is what it's talking about. This is what he's talking about. Not talking about a world reality. He's talking about a Tanakh Atzmi reality. Our time is basically over, but now I just want to go. U'kmeishin is boil yil, and as we already explained previously, earlier, the Tainug v'chochma be'emes. The Tainug v'chochma be'emes. What's meant by be'emes? We always explain be'emes. Be'emes means in truth. It's mean in truth. Why are we talking all the time falsehood? Even though on the surface, Tainug and chochma are two different levels, two different things completely. But in essence, in truth, Meaning, what gives Chokhmah its true presence? It's not logic. It's not anything compelling from any other direction. What gives Chokhmah its true presence? What gives Chokhmah the demand that there is something true over here? It is Hem Inyan Echad Be'etzki. They're one Inyan Be'etzki. Chokhmah is fed its presence by the Tainug Atzmi. V'hatainug Atzmi. We're going Tainug Atzmi very quickly. Shebenefesh. This Tainug Atzmi in the Nefesh. Zehu Atzmi Han Atzmus HaNefesh. This is the Etzem HaNefesh. This is not a functional element. This is not a koyach. This is the presence of Nefesh. Okay, to elaborate on these words, we don't have a time, so we will do it next time. Okay, this is it for this morning. Have a great day. Yes.
This statement here,
Yeah.
that's the inside of the statement we said earlier in the line, was that the oinig is nimshach into every ma'aseh, every mark. Yeah?
Yeah, but that, like you said, it's the inside. It's not the center.
See, it seems like behind Seichel is Tainug. The most primary, the most original element is the Tainug. Yet we still with Nefesh HaSichli. It should be Nefesh Tainug. Nefesh HaNeges.
So that's when we're still coming. That's what I explained to you. What?
I said that the Seichel is a translation, an identification of the Tainug.
And that's what I explained to you the other day. What makes Kol HaKoiches? The element of Kol HaKoiches is the Seichel element.
Oh, so behind all of that is Tainug, but what makes it come into faculties is the Seichel?
Yes, Seichel.
The highest element that's conscious? That's
Yeah, it's right. It enables consciousness. It's not really.